This is the Thundering Herd on ESPNRadio.com. Brought to you by TiVo. The best way to find, record, and watch TV now gets the best movies too. Now, the Thundering Herd with Colin Cowherd on ESPNRadio.com.
You know, one of the things about the show I've always said, and I just believe this, is, you know, of course we want you to like us, but we don't spend a lot of time worrying about that. The one thing I always tell my staff is the two things we really owe you are a hard day's work, because you work hard. So, you know, I dang well better bring my A game. And we work hard. Sometimes we swing and miss and fail, but we work hard here. The second thing I owe you, and I believe this from day one, when I was a young guy wanting to be a sportscaster, I hated sportscasters who glossed over the truth or avoided controversy. I'm not an idiot. Tell me the truth. We owe you honesty. Now, the downside to honesty is there are some things, honestly, that I don't want to talk about, but I just can't throw stuff past you. I just don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair. If I'm going to be honest about good stuff, I got to be honest about bad stuff. And so here goes for the next 7 or 8 minutes, which may bore many of you, but I just need to get it off my chest. I didn't want to promote it. I didn't want to make this into a bit. I think it sort of devalues the other people involved. But as I've said before on this show, my all-time favorite movie line is Shawshank Redemption. And I'm not even sure who says that. I think Morgan Freeman says it. Get busy living or get busy dying. And my dad used to always say that. He said, you don't really plateau, because if you're plateauing, people beneath you are working harder. My dad was sort of a worker, sort of a grinder, maybe a workaholic, which isn't a great thing, but that's what he was, and that's sort of what I am. And 4.5, 5 months ago, my wife and I decided to get busy living, and we decided to get a divorce. And it was a very, very dark 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 weeks. I cried during shows. I threw up in the bathroom. 2 or 3 things got me through it. I'm in a much better place now. The one thing that got me through it was my kids, and the second thing that got me through it was NHL playoff hockey. Was friends. And the third thing that got me through it was this radio show. There were days and dark, dark periods where, I got to be honest, folks, I had no interest getting out of bed. And anybody who's been divorced knows what I'm talking about. But I would come here. You'd be funny, you'd be sarcastic, you'd yell at me, I'd yell at you. And a lot of days, for brief periods, I forgot about it. And anybody who's been through a divorce will tell you, it's hard to forget about it. It eats away at your self-confidence, it eats away at your life. There's isolation, it's dark. I refuse to call it. We were together for 11 years, Kim and I refuse to call it a failure. And the reason is, I think, because I'm a better person today than I was 10 years ago. I'm more grown up. I'm more compassionate. I enjoy the little things more in life. I think I'm more fun to be around. I think I'm smarter. And a huge part of that is my about-to-be former partner, who's also going to be a partner for the next 30 or 40 years of my life because we have kids together. But I think it would sort of be almost bordering on cruel to call my 11 years with Kim a failure, because she moved cross-country with me 3 times, sacrificed friendships, jobs, time with family to be with me. So for me to go on the air and say that's a failure is, I just think, sort of whiffs. Marriage is hard. It's damn hard. On paper, it looks ridiculous. 50 years, opposite sex, same small house. I don't know how people do it. I don't know if I can be with anything for 50 years. I move books out of my house after like 18 months. I'll just buy new books. I've never owned a pair of jeans for longer than 2 years. Animals wear me out. I don't know if I'm the kind of guy that can handle anything for 50 years. But the last 10 were largely great. Great kids, great memories. But you sort of in life, you grow together or you grow apart. And we just grew apart. We like each other. I just bought a home right next to her. We have great kids. She's a great mom, and she's a good friend, very decent person. But we talk a lot, and I've never really, I'm a kid of divorce, and I never really saw the value. I remember when I was a kid in divorce, I wanted my mom and dad to get along. So I don't really see the value of hating somebody, because when my kids are around me, they don't want me banging on mom. And when my kids are around her, they don't want her banging on me. So we sort of came to a resolution here, is that what's the point? She'd never been through divorce. I had. And I said, I just have no interest making you look bad in front of them, and I hope you don't do the same with me. And we've both moved on. We are better people today. We're happier people today. And it's a strange place to be, because I've got to be honest with you. Most things I put my mind to, I've succeeded at. If I want to get in shape or eat well, I do. I've really been into my career. I've done pretty well. I've got really good friendships. I get along with people, despite some angry emails. By and large, we've got so many friends that have supported us on this show. And I really like my soon-to-be ex-wife. It's real soon happening here. In Connecticut, it takes a while. Really like her. And she's a great mom. But, it's funny about this, is that there are so many dark days when you go through this whole process. And it's just, you lose weight, you gain weight, you lose confidence, you gain confidence. But at the end of the day, you get busy living or you get busy dying. And we were dying, so we decided to get living. And this was not me having a midlife crisis. I wasn't banging a secretary. I don't even have a secretary. Maybe if I did, that would have been the issue. I've never had a secretary. Fish is pretty close, and I got no interest doing that with him. But this wasn't one of those things. This wasn't verbal abuse, or this wasn't bad parenting. This was two people genuinely like each other growing apart. So this is the strangest 8 minutes I've ever done in radio. It's sad, but it's also sort of energized me knowing that now I don't have this gigantic Wurlitzer on my back, because I wasn't quite sure how to talk about it and when to talk about it, because it involves, little people. And I was going to talk about it about 2 months ago. And then when you go through a divorce, you go through these bad weeks. I didn't see the kids as much as I want. I'm out of town. I'm getting cranky. And I thought, I better let this thing, I better let this play out a little bit, because I don't want to go on the air when I'm raw. And 4 and 5, there's still some dark, poignant moments, but by and large, I'm a very, very happy guy. And I consider myself an incredibly lucky guy. I've got a great group of friends, amazing kids, a career I love, and I get along with my ex-wife. And I just don't see the value of dehumanizing her or hating her or dogging her. I wouldn't want her to do it with me. I always say about religion. Religion to me, and I'm not a Bible guy, religion to me is treat others as you'd like to be treated, and everything else is sort of opinion. It's sort of the same way I get along with every ex-girlfriend I've ever had. At least that's what I've led myself to believe. I always thought the coolest thing would be 20 years from now, somebody asking my ex-wife, Kim, soon-to-be ex-wife, so what was the marriage like? And her saying, it's just, gosh, I think I like him more now than when I was married. And I always thought, wouldn't that be the coolest thing? Like if I could hang out at Christmas or be with her and whoever her significant other is and whoever mine is, and you get along and you hang out and there's no jealousy or acrimony, there's no anger. I always thought that would be cool. Because in the divorces, and I was a kid of a product of divorce, it was tough and it was polarizing and fence building, and I don't blame my parents. Back then you didn't have the therapist and the medication. Now you got blue pills and green pills and all sorts of pills, and you got therapy and professionals and books and magazines and the internet. I think it's easier to get divorced today, and that's probably why there are more divorces. It's easier. And it's been incredibly dark in moments over the last 4.5 months. But I'm okay now. Doing okay. I appreciate you letting me get that off my chest. I really, really do. Whoa! This morning, I go to 5 or 6 websites that because of my job. One of them is SI.com, Sports Illustrated. Like many of you, I grew up with, Sports Illustrated. So I go, and this morning, I'm a sucker for this. They had power rankings in baseball, and they're totally irrelevant. But I, like you, am a sucker for lists. I love lists. I like totally irrelevant lists. I like the preseason NFL ranking lists. I like best cities to live in America, best chefs, best politicians, left, right. I like lists, and I always have. I always have. I don't know why it is. Maybe it's because they're easy and manageable. Look, right there, I can see it. I don't even have to read the whole story. Just a list tells me everything I want to know, and I'm a busy guy. That's probably it. They're fast and easy. You can play along, argue, debate. Some lists I think are ridiculous. I always say, when they always have best places to live in America, well, we all know it's Santa Barbara. Let's move on. And they always put like Rochester, New York, and Ithaca, and Naperville, Illinois. Really, that's the best place to live. For who? Ice fishermen? It's 9 in January. That's not the best place to live. Fox and VH1 and MTV and E! Television, they love lists. 100 craziest TV moments, 15 wildest Lindsay Lohan rehab stories. One recently was the 40 most metal moments. Oh, that was a good one. It hooks you right in, too. I don't even have to care what the list is about. But that whole 40 most metal moments, I'm flipping through the channels. I get to number 4. I tune in right on number 4. I don't listen to metal music, but I'm going to wait till number 1. I remember one time flipping around, they had the 20 greatest rap albums ever. I don't really listen to a lot of rap, but I tuned in, they were on number 6. I sat there for 45 minutes and watched till they got to Tupac or something. Big E. I don't care about it, but lists hook you in. I don't know why it is. You don't even have to care about what the list is about. It's something in our DNA. But that's why all these networks do lists. That's why they have them. Because you're flipping through the TV. 8 craziest hair bands coming up on there. I'll literally miss an episode of Law and Order and The Sopranos. Really? Where's Tesla? Where's Lita Ford? I want to hear the answer. It's ridiculous. I don't care anything about hair bands. But when you're surfing, 10 greatest bass guitarists ever. All right, Nikki Sixx, Bobby Dole. Who was the Flock of Seagulls guy? I start text messaging friends. It's pathetic. I never bought an amp to pump up my bass. I don't even know what it means. It was always the Soners in high school. Dude, brah, got an amp to rock my bass. Whatever. Would you guys clean your hair once a month? Women's magazines love lists. Oh, women are totally guilty. 5 ways to satisfy a man. I've never had any interest satisfying a man, but I'll go open it up. 4, stroke his hair and wink at him. All right, that's pretty interesting. What about number 3? Kiss him on the neck and call him stud muffin. Ooh, I like that. I'm never going to satisfy a guy, not really interested. But you give me the 3, I want to hear 1. I want to hear what they're trying to do. You make a list, I'm on it, man. I'd like to make a list of the best lists. My favorite list, and it's just absurd, preseason college football rankings. Nobody's played a game, and we have a definitive list. We lost 15 seniors, but I'm sure we're 4th best in the country. Okay. You bet. I'll spend 4 days talking about that. That'll give me a week's worth of radio shows. Best sports cities, that's another gem. Denver's better than Buffalo. I'm sure of it. And the methodology is, 'cause. Okay. Best NBA centers all time. That was one of the funniest ever. That's why I may not even watch the NBA. One of the great arguments of all time. Best NBA centers ever. Tell you right now, I put Akeem above Shaq. Beat him one-on-one. Better free throw shooter down the stretch. Tell you right now, I'll argue all day. Akeem's better than Shaq. I'll tell you another thing. Elmore Smith is better than Wilt. I'll go toe-to-toe with you, dog. Lists. So anyway, SI.com has the power rankings for baseball. Got the power rankings for baseball. They got Boston number 1. I'm pretty happy with that. Mets number 2. I wouldn't argue with that. Cleveland's just doing some really good things. Paul Bird's hot pitching. They're number 3. Angels are 4th. Please, they can't hit. Detroit's 5. You know they'll be better. Braves 6. Brewers 7. Yeah, that's not going to last. Dodgers 8. They're bad up the middle. That bad fielding team. 9 Padres, they can't hit. And 10 the Arizona Diamondbacks. By the way, Randy Johnson's pitching well. Did you notice that?
He's pitching great. I'm surprised the Oakland A's didn't make that list.
Well,
they're smacking the snot out of the ball.
Here's the thing. The White Sox, Twins, and A's are 11, 12, 13.
All
if
right.
I could say anything about this list, they'll all be top 6.
Hands down.
By the way, when's the last time the Twins started well? Don't they start poorly every year? Isn't that the story? I don't know why it is. Every year the Twins start poorly. I'll tell you what it is. It's all that ice fishing. They just can't concentrate on baseball. It's still like 4 degrees in Minnesota, is it not?
It's always more important to close than to start.
Yeah.
I'm more of a closer myself, Herd.
Oh, Jesus. I'm more of an idiot.
I will teach you my ways.
Yeah, just because I'm divorced doesn't mean I want any of you.
Oh, by the way, I'm taking a lot of heat in the emails. I think you need to clarify that I had absolutely nothing to do with this. A lot of people are blaming me, pointing fingers.
It was funny because the first couple of weekends, I had isolation time and alone time, and I chose to go out with you.
We had a great time, didn't we?
I haven't gone out with you since. I think that sums it up. It's nothing against you. I just think you have different standards on what's appropriate in public. I don't think ramming into doors of office buildings in your sedan is really appropriate. I think carrying a drunk girl on the interstate, which you acknowledged, is not something I want to be part of.
That was admirable. I was helping out someone, helping out a friend, and he's laughing at me. He would have done the same. That's the gentleman thing to do.
Let's remember the first 2 weeks on this show, you got into a high-speed wreck with a BMW, you carried a girl on the interstate, and you slammed some sort of door and spidered it, broke all the glass window. That was the first 2 weeks I knew you. I do big boy radio. I'm looking for a second contract at ESPN. I can't hang out with you. You're not really a peer. You're a crazy person who, if I sort of start hanging out with you, stuff like that's going to happen.
We're going out tonight, though, right?
We're not going out tonight. We're never going to go out again. We'll just pretend on the air like you and I are buddies, but there's no way in God's green earth I can hang out with you. I got children. Yesterday, you talked about a story, going home at noon at your condo with school children and sitting next to 2 bimbos smoking cigs and drinking hard liquor at noon. And
it was 1:45.
Whatever. It's not appropriate.
Dude, I still got the pictures in my phone if you want to see them. Compass loved them.
Let's move on already. Whoa! Look at this. Americans, second best tourists in the world to the Japanese. New survey, 15,000 European hotel owners. Expedia.com. French, worst tourists in the world. India, people from India are the second worst tourists in the world. China, the Russians, the British. We are number 2 behind the Japanese. I thought everybody hated us. Everybody hates America. America stinks, arrogant. Everybody hates us. Really, we're the second most popular tourists in the world. Did not watch American Idol last night. Jordan Sparks won. Many say it is time to move on, but American Idol is here to stay. It's the most important TV show of our time, arguably ever. It not only moves revenue, it moves numbers, it moves the entertainment industry. 80 million people voted last night. That's more people than voted on the presidency of the United States. So Jordan Sparks won. Speaking of TV.
Now, time for Colin Cowherd's Me Too.
The game. Where is it? All right.
What to watch.
Help me, Oprah Winfrey!
Me Too. In the Herd on ESPN Radio.
Said it before, I'll say it again. One of the great ideas for a TV show, Pimp My Ride. 9 to 9:30 on MTV tonight. 5th season finale. Great show. Great idea for a TV show. The execution, pretty darn good as well. Pimp My Ride, 9 Eastern, MTV season finale of season number 5.
The Herd on ESPN Radio and Me Too are brought to you by Vizio, America's fastest growing flat panel TV company. Go to VizioTV.com. Vizio, where vision meets value.
And yesterday, Eric Allen, former Pro Bowler, with an embarrassing admission that he now owns an RV. On the Stars Network, whatever that is at 9 Eastern, RV with Robin Williams, Jeff Daniels, and Cheryl Hines, which is supposed to be a god-awful movie. I have not seen the movie, but it's supposed to be just heinous.
I couldn't believe Eric said that yesterday. He seems like such a cool, hip San Diego pro. Dude has an RV.
It's just not my scene at all. I'm not an RV guy, and I'm not a cruise guy. I just don't want to go on cruises. I don't want to have to get on a ship, be told where I'm going. Okay, the ship has stopped. Now you've got 4 hours. Go shopping, get back on. When I go on a vacation, I don't want any plans. I want to know where the beaches are, the restaurants are, the bars are, and where I can rest. I go to the place. I get up late. I do what I want to do. Some stuff legal, some stuff not. But I'm just going to go have a good time. I don't want some Captain Stubing telling me I got 50 minutes in the port of call to get stuff done. And then you got a bunch of rats running around you, a bunch of kids, and you got, they're feeding you, so you put on like 15 pounds in 5 days. Management came to me at ESPN about a month ago. It's a true story. This is a true story at ESPN. I shouldn't be telling this story. I'm going to get in big trouble because they probably went through with it. They said, what would you think about a big ESPN cruise? And I said, I would jump overboard. Oh, we'll just bring some of ESPN, the biggest fans of ESPN. They won't bother you. I said, so they're the biggest fans of ESPN radio, and they're not going to notice who we are. Yeah, you'll put on dark sunglasses, baseball hat, they won't notice you. They're coming on this cruise, they know who I am. It's nothing against people. I don't want to be trapped with them in the middle of the Atlantic. Oh, cruises. I just don't get cruises. And I think we get like 50% off Disney cruises. But Disney cruises are a bunch of kids. I love my kids. I'm not so hot on yours. I don't want to spend time with your kids for 2 weeks. It'll wear me out. Oh, cruises does nothing for me. It'd be like being at a giant Applebee's for 9 days. I'd lock myself in the bathroom. Gargle my own hurl. Oh, I can't do it. There's some things America likes I do not get. I just don't get chain restaurants. I don't get them. There's a zillion good local restaurants. Go support your local chefs. I just do not get some nose picker at Applebee's. I'm going to eat that guy's food. If he's any good, it'd be a local restaurant. I'm going to go to a local restaurant. Delicious. I don't understand that. I don't understand chain restaurants. Unless they sponsor our show, then I'm all for them. I don't get cruises. I don't get wanting to be trapped on a boat with strangers for 7 days. Got 20 minutes. Go to Panama. Get some liquor-free tequila. Get back over here.
Yeah, I've never understood it either. And down where my family, we own the house in Aruba, we go down there all the time, and you see all the cruise people get off the boat.
2 weeks ago, one of them went ashore in Alaska.
It's awful.
Hit an iceberg in Alaska, man overboard.
We've all seen the Titanic. We know what happens.
I know what happens. I don't want to be on a big ship. Scares me that, listen, I don't want to be on airplanes either. It's a big metal tube 35,000 feet up, but it's quick.
I know. I hate them too.
It's incredible. So cruises and chain restaurants, I just don't get them. I'll tell you another thing I did recently what I'm going to start doing more of. I went to the mall at like 1 p.m. Boy, that's a great place to go.
Well, there's nobody there during the day.
You know who's there? Old people exercising and strippers. I'm not joking.
And hot moms with the little babies.
Oh, my God. I had no idea. Strippers, MILFs, and old people.
Go on a Monday. It's even better.
Why is that?
Well, because on Monday, all the strippers and hairdressers have off.
Oh!
That's the best day to go to the beach in the summer, dog.
Really?
Oh, back when I had a Sea-Doo. I used to roll up on the beach with the Sea-Doo back in the day. Oh, you could fit 3 strippers on the back of that sucker right around the sound. They think you're the hottest stud in the world.
Sea-Doo.
Everybody's doing it.
See, like you do on Sea-Doo. So, Monday is stripper and hairdresser day off.
They all go to the beach.
Wow.
That's a little known. I just let the cat out of the bag. Now I'm going to go down there this year, and everybody's going to be there picking up on my ladies.
God, you are. You know what? You're pathetic, but in a weird way, I sort of revel.
He's
no, I do. I revel. I revel.
Your ladies. What about Jenny D? What she
yeah,
think
you
about
have a girlfriend.
Hey, I don't have a girlfriend. I have a friend that's a female, and I hang out with her a lot.
I've been to dinner with you. That's a girlfriend. She's very nice, by the way.
They're going to a wedding together this weekend in St. Louis, and she's not his girlfriend.
Listen, do you want to know why I told her I'd go to the wedding? She said she'd take me to Busch Stadium so I could go see a ball game.
Oh, that's charming.
You don't treat her very well.
And they got the Budweiser brewery out there.
You don't treat her very well. She's very pretty. And
treat her like a princess. I treat her great. I take her out all the time. I let her come over to my house with her dog, and you know how much I like dogs.
That's treating her well. She's a very pretty girl. She really is, Compass, and mature.
I've met her. Yeah, she's nice.
Beyond her years, mature.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
She works at the hospital. She does an important hospital job.
Yeah.
Where she has to wear hospital outfits to work.
Yeah. Yes, that's it.
Women with careers throw fish off.
I know.
He's used to Hooters girls and strippers.
You've dated girls with jobs. You have a girl with a career. There's a big difference between a job and a career.
I know.
I like her a lot. I think you should make it more serious. I told you before. I make
it all the time.
No, I mean, again, he's an idiot.
You open yourself up for that one.
Yeah, and it's just ridiculous. I don't even know why I bring him on the air. It's just stupid. Dan Patrick, I'm not sure who Dan has on today. We've had Will Perdue. We had Kevin Pritchard of the Portland Trail Blazers, who did appear to give away they will be drafting Kevin Durant. I don't want to lead him anywhere, but it did seem like they will be drafting Kevin Durant. Speaking of RVs, Eric Allen yesterday talked about RVs. Here's what's funny about RVs, is that when I was a kid, my dad and I didn't have a great relationship. It wasn't that it was bad, but Dad drank a lot, and early. And so my dad and Mom got divorced. Well, he was, when he retired, especially from the optometry business, he kind of hit the road. And so, but my dad, the one thing I remember about my dad, we would get in this like Winnebago and go to Mount Rainier. And Mount Rainier is amazing in the Pacific Northwest in Seattle, about an hour and a half outside of Seattle. We would go to Mount Rainier as a kid. And, there's nothing that smells better as a kid. That's the only upside to an RV. Nothing smells better as a kid as like a state park when a fire's going. Is that the best smell as a kid? And then you become a teenage boy and there are other smells you like. But when you're about 9, the best smell is state park, fire burning. You've been riding your bike all day. It's about 5 in the afternoon and you're getting ready to do steaks and burgers and dogs. That is living big when you're a 10-year-old kid. That's about the only childhood memory I have of my dad. That and him saying, I'm going to go change the sprinkler. I ever tell you the dad story? Only time my dad ever paddled me. My dad we had a sprinkler on the lawn. And we didn't have a turn-on, turn-off switch that was nearby. It was hooked up to a place around the corner. So my dad gave me the hose and bent it and said, hold it right here. I'm going to move the sprinkler. Dad got 1 foot away. I opened it up. Buried him. I mean, we lived on the coast. We had great water power. I mean, he came after me in his pharmacy shirt. You have never seen an old man run. You son of a... I mean, he went after me with a board. He was furious. Said, Dad, come on now, be reasonable. I'm a young man having fun. He and Dean Martin chased me around the house. All right, folks, we will see you tomorrow, same time, same place.
Log on to ESPN.com/PodCenter or ESPNRadio.com.